Hello there and welcome back to my channel. Today I have brought Billy, aka Mr. Pocketful of Primary on, which means this is a wedding update slash relationship Q&A video. If you watched my last video, you know that I've kind of been on the struggle bus lately, and one of the things I did not talk about in that video is how COVID-19 has been affecting wedding planning, because it has definitely affected wedding planning. So I went onto Instagram, had you all ask some questions. Some of them are like beginning of our relationship questions, some of them are wedding questions, and we are going to answer them all in this video. So the very first question is from hence.forth. Are you postponing your wedding? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
It's funny now going back and watching our last wedding update video because we were so confident. Actually, I don't think we were actually confident. We were just still trying to convince ourselves that it was going to happen. Here's the deal. We are still getting married on 10/10/2020. We are just going to have an intimate ceremony with family, and we're postponing the wedding. We're now referring to this year as our marriage and next year as our wedding, you know, to kind of differentiate. So next year will be the actual wedding where all of our extended family and friends can come, but 10/10/2020, it's just gonna be us, our parents, siblings, getting hitched, going out to dinner, eating cake, and calling it a night.
Sounds good to me. How about you?
That works for me. Next is from Mrs.K.Morrison_12. How long have you guys been together?
Over 6.5 years now. I mean, 6 years and 8 months, basically.
Yeah, it'll be
Going
7
on 9
years.
months.
7 years in October. No, December.
No, December.
I know. I'm sorry, my brain.
You're gonna have a lot of dates to keep track.
It will be 7 years in December. From Jenna_Barker. How did you meet? Was it love at first sight? So I want to hear your story first of how we met, and then I'll add in my thoughts.
So we were at a Christmas ugly sweater party, although I wasn't wearing an ugly sweater. I was wearing a sweater that had nothing to do with Christmas, basically.
Accurate.
Had a little bit more to do with partying in
Billy,
college, but that's
stop.
Okay. I thought we were supposed to be honest.
We are, just continue.
Fans. Was it love at first sight? No. I don't know if it really works that way. I would say it was interest at first sight.
Yes.
Although you were too busy on the couch petting the dog that was there, so.
Okay, here's my version of it. Yes, it was an ugly Christmas sweater party. I was petting a dog because that's what I did when I went to parties. I made friends with the animals. But what Billy mentioned with interest at first sight, I definitely think it was that. We actually did not really talk much the first night we met. I think he introduced himself like, hi, my name's Billy, hi, my name's Michelle, and that was it. I talked to his friend more than I talked to him, but we kept making eye contact like the entire night. So
yeah, it's true.
I think we knew something was there, but definitely wasn't love at first sight. I don't think love at first sight exists. I don't think you can love someone until you truly know them, but I do think you can see someone and know that there's potential, if that makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. From Jamie Ruth with 3 H's. First date.
Panera Bread.
Yeah.
Some things don't change.
So I picked that one out. Do you remember why?
Well, didn't you want it somewhere somewhat inexpensive in case you had to pay for your half?
Well, no, I intended on paying my half because I didn't want to feel guilted into staying. Like if he had paid and I wasn't having a good time, I would have felt like I had to at least stay for the duration of the date. So I wanted to pay for myself so that if I needed to skedaddle, I could. But that wasn't the case. Do you want to tell them what happened?
Oh, we were there for what, 5 hours?
Yeah, basically until they were closing.
Yeah, we got there at like 2.
Yeah.
And we stayed till like 7:30, 8.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7:30, but
yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Had about, at that point, 19 years to catch you up on.
Yeah. Which, just to clue you all in, so Billy asked me on our first date. Actually, let's kind of give the story. So we met at the ugly Christmas sweater party. 2 or 3 days later, he friend requested me on Facebook. He had to do some snooping.
Such a stalker.
He had to find you had to friend request my roommate, which he worked with at the time. And then he friend requested me. Did not message me, did not communicate with me in any way, shape, or form. I almost didn't accept it because I saw that he was younger than me and I did not typically date guys younger than me, but I accepted it because, again, I remembered making eye contact with him that whole night, and he then didn't talk to me for like a week, and then he liked one of my statuses. In fact, I think it was something about a coffee pot can be a coffee mug if you believe hard enough or something like that, and he liked it, but again, did not contact me. So I then messaged him and said, you can friend request me and you can like my status, but you can't talk to me. And so I sparked that conversation. I was studying for a final. I pulled an all-nighter that night, and I think you stayed up with me until 3 or 4 a.m. and you asked me out on the date, which I think was that next day. Or 2 days later, something like that, and yeah, okay. From Carrie.m215, what was your first impression of each other?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Oh.
Beautiful. Hungry. You must have been hungry. What, did you even eat breakfast that day? I don't know.
Wait, when was I hungry? What day?
Well, you ate quickly at Panera Bread, and I remember...
It was dinner.
It was like 3 hours into the date, and I think I still had some food in my
Yeah, you were not eating.
I was talking.
He was too busy telling me about his child modeling days because he was in like a commercial, and that was his form of bragging.
Don't minimize it. KB Toys, I'm sure some of your followers or subscribers know what KB Toys is. Look them up. I did a commercial. I think I did 2 commercials, actually.
There was one where his face was like immersed in a bunch of stuffed animals.
True.
Anyway, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, you were obviously interesting. It was interesting enough to make it last 5.5 hours. You were funny.
Thank you.
I loved your laugh. It's one of the first things.
Wait, loved? Is that past tense?
Well, no, I'm speaking about an event that happened in the past. So I'm talking about in that moment, not necessarily ongoing. But how about you?
So I remember, again, seeing him that night, and I just kept looking at him. So obviously I was interested. But I remember when he first came to pick me up, so I had an apartment and he was walking up and I was peeking through the peek hole. That's totally something people do, right? And I don't know, you seemed a little full of yourself. Like you were wearing shades and the way, I don't know, you just seemed...
So I told you were gorgeous, funny.
I said that night I kept looking at you. But no, again, when we were at Panera, I just felt like the conversation was very easy and I was, interested in what he was saying and he expressed interest in me and it was a good time.
Still a good time with you, honey.
Okay. From LilyG879, who said I love you first?
Oh, easy, that was me.
Yeah.
You made me wait like an extra month and a half.
Yeah.
I was hooked pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay, in my defense, so we met at the end, early December, right? It was like December 7th was the party. I think we started talking about a week later, went on the first date, and then we talked all of winter break because after that date, that night, I literally drove back home because it was winter break for college. And we spoke on the phone every night for like 3 hours. And we got to know each other a lot. He said, well, we started dating officially December 28th, right after I got back after Christmas. And he said, I love you on February 16th because that is the date of our engagement. We got engaged 5 years after that. Yeah, so I did not say I love you until probably April. But I did not want to be in a relationship when we met. I had just gotten out of a relationship and I wanted to be single, and I very much kind of pushed away at the start of our dating, right? Because I did not want to be in a relationship, but I knew there was something there. So I was trying not to push him away, but secretly I just didn't want to be in a relationship. So it took me longer to come to, reason with my feelings. Is that okay to say? I mean, that's the truth.
Reason won out, so.
Yeah, okay. From Kevin_Dua, he was my Boston Marathon running buddy. When did you know it was love? What moment sold you about each other and why?
Well, I told you I loved you on February 16th, which was towards the end of a Valentine. It was our first weekend away. And we'd only been dating for a month and a half at that point. I don't know, it was really easy at that point. I mean, we spent Valentine's weekend up in DC. couple nice hotel rooms. Even though we had been only dating for a month and a half, we'd been talking, and especially 3, 4, 5 hour phone calls late at night. So yeah, it was only a month and a half by the calendar, but time actually spent communicating with you, it felt a lot longer. It felt like 3 months, 3.5 months. Can't really pinpoint one exact moment. I think it was a culmination of a bunch of little moments.
I agree. I think for me though, this helped me know he was the one, more so even than me being in love with him, because I think you can love someone but them not be the one for you. I think what let me know he was the one is how in sync we were, and he would literally read my mind. Like I would be thinking about something and then he would say it, and I'm like, how did he know I was thinking about that? And when we would finish each other's sentences, we still do that, and it just kind of was like a whoa kind of moment. And
I hope you still have some whoa kind
of
moment.
I said that still happens now.
Good.
But now I'm used to it. At the beginning it was kind of weird because it's like I just met this person, how do they know me that well? But yeah. All right. From Emily Nicole Earn, when did you guys move in together? Any advice?
Well, that's a 2-part question. How about I answer the first one and you answer the second one? Okay. So I had an internship in DC spring of 2015, and that ended basically May 1st of 2015, and that was our first, I think that was our first night in the new apartment. I was still in school. You were out of school.
Yeah, I was in my first year of... Okay, hold on, I gotta do math. So when we started dating, I was about to start my student teaching. We dated through that. I started my first year of teaching, so it was at the end of my first year of teaching. We had been dating about a year and 5 months-ish.
Yeah. And, prior to that, we'd spent plenty of nights together, so it wasn't anything unique. I think I was ready for it. I think you were ready for it. I was ready to move out of Mom's house.
Yeah, he was moving from home. I had several roommates, and I struggled to live with some of my roommates. And honestly, when we moved in together, I had a lot of people ask, like, what was there anything difficult that you had to work through? No, I mean, honestly, it was the most seamless transition I think I've ever had, and living with him was the easiest thing I had ever done. Definitely better than any of my previous roommates. In terms of advice, I would just say, make sure you're on the same page. I mean, for us, it's not like one of us was trying to rush the other person into it. It was something we both had decided and had been looking forward to, I think, for a while. Like, when it was time for us to move in, it was like, yes, let's go. And I think it helps to have, like, in terms of decorating and decor, finding those things that you agree on, because there will be plenty of things you don't agree on, but if you can find the things you do agree on and just fill your space with that. I think for us, we love, as you can see, like dark colored wood, like espresso color, and we love travel related things. So we have a lot of travel themed pictures hung up and a lot of dark wood and a lot of neutral colors, and that's just something that we both like. And yeah, but honestly, we did not have any struggles. It was the easiest decision I think we ever made. Okay.
Dating you was a pretty easy decision. It's up there.
All right, this is a good one. From Anna Mel Brook, how are your personalities different and how are they similar?
Similar is probably easiest. I think we're both really competitive.
Stubborn. Oh, yeah, stubborn.
Well,
competitive.
Stubborn and competitive
yeah.
have a little bit of connecting tissue.
Yeah. In terms of different, I would say I'm more uptight about things and I handle stress differently. Billy tends to be very easygoing and he'll be stressed and you can't even tell, whereas I'm stressed and I'm like, it's very obvious. I think he's very like calm and easygoing with that.
I think it takes a lot more to push me to that level.
Yeah.
The same thing with like getting mad about things. Like it takes...
Are you saying I get mad easily?
No, not you. I'm just...
But yeah, it does take a lot to... And I think that was another thing that I really enjoyed about him, is the fact that he was very in tune with like his feelings. That sounds really lame, but he was very understanding and he wouldn't get upset easily about things. And I think there's a later question where this is gonna come up again, so I'll just wait.
Okay.
Ooh. From Let's Teach Computing, what are some pet peeves you have about each other?
Ooh, how long do we have to film this?
Okay, he already knows what my pet peeve is of him.
When I take my dress socks off, any sock, ball them up,
Yep.
right in the hamper, and then don't subsequently unball them.
Yes, he puts his balled up socks in the hamper and they go into the wash like that and the dryer, so when they come out and you unball them, they're still wet, they're not clean. It's so frustrating. But honestly, I think that's probably my only one.
I do 90% of the laundry, so I deal with it.
I know, but...
No, not
Okay.
well, you know one of mine too. It's when you leave mini piles of dirty clothes. So we have a hamper. That's like home base. And then we have in the closet a little pile, by the foot of the bed a little pile.
It's like when you wear something and you're like, but I'm not done wearing this yet. I might wear it again because I only had it on for an hour.
It's like you feel bad that you're sending the clothes to get cleaned.
Yeah,
which is fine.
I don't want there to be more laundry, so I try to use stuff as much as possible. Okay.
That's it?
From...
One each? Okay, that's fine.
What, do you have more? I said that was my only pet peeve.
That's the only pet peeve you have for me?
It's the only one that comes immediately to mind.
Okay, well I feel
you leave the toilet seat up sometimes,
That's
but...
not... I don't do it that often.
Wait until you leave it up and you go in to do a number 2 and you about fall in, especially in the dark, then come talk to me.
That's never happened.
Yet.
Okay.
From eHowl22, have you ever done the relationship long distance? If so, how did you guys make it work? So kind of. I mean, long distance is relative. For us, our version of long distance is when I was living in Salisbury, Maryland, and Billy was interning in DC on Capitol Hill with a congressman, but he was actually living with his aunt and uncle north of Baltimore. So he was a good 3 hours away.
Not quite that, 2.5.
Yeah, the way he drives. But he was gone, throughout the week. He would come home on the weekend, and that definitely helped. I think I went up one weekend. It was hard though, because it was my first year of teaching. It was very hard to get away on the weekends because I had a lot on my plate, but he came home every weekend. He would call me because he had to commute from DC to north of Baltimore, like Towson area. He typically had a long commute home, and we would talk on the phone, except for when he would go through the tunnel. That was always when you're like, all right, I'll call you back. And then you would call back and we would just chit chat about our days. And I think it's just important to find ways to stay connected, but that's the only long distance that we've ever done.
Yeah, it was hard, and even that was difficult.
Yeah. So I mean, if you are in a long distance relationship, I give you major kudos, because I don't think I could do it if it were any longer distance or a longer time period. That was only for 4 months-ish.
Yeah.
So from Nella Cherry, I think, or Nella.Cherry, how long were you guys together before getting engaged?
So this would have been 5 years, basically, to the...
Well, 5 years from when you said I love you, but so it's a little bit over 5 years.
A month and a half. So.
And honestly, we had wanted to get engaged before that.
You were ready. I mean, I think you were ready, and I was ready too.
Well, I think we were both ready. It was more financial things that we had to work out first, but...
Poor college kid.
Yeah, but we had decided, I think, pretty early in our relationship, we knew we wanted to get married, and then it became that serious conversation of, okay, let's get engaged. And that conversation, I would say we had at least 1.5 years before we actually got engaged. So it had been a conversation for a long time. Speaking of engagement, from Emily Grace Has, did you know Billy was going to propose? Did you help ring shop? So yes, I knew he was going to propose. We went on a trip to Amsterdam, and I knew he was going to propose during that trip. I didn't specifically know when or how or where, but I did know he was going to propose that trip because I do not like surprises, so I wanted to be very much in the know. And in terms of helping ring shop, a little bit, I didn't pick out this ring, but we went together to a jewelry store, and we looked at rings together. I definitely told him kind of what I had in mind and what I liked. You need to tell your mate what you like because they cannot read your mind. So if there's something specific that you want, tell them. And it was a surprise to me after the fact, which he didn't tell me until 2 weeks after he proposed, that the center diamond in my ring was actually from his mom's engagement ring, which made it that much more special, and I don't know why he didn't tell me.
Was it really 2 weeks?
Yes!
I don't remember that.
It was 2 weeks later.
I don't remember how long it was. Okay.
Of course you don't. I do.
It's all good.
All right, from Courtney Webster 03. Did you ever have to drop hints about getting engaged / married? So, again, I think it was an open conversation for us.
It wasn't really much of a hint. It was just like, hey, I want to be engaged. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry. And
yeah, there was definitely a time, I think, where we both wanted to be engaged, but I really wanted it. We were just not in a financial position to make that happen, and that was tough. But we had very open conversations, and I think we were on the same page in terms of wanting to get married, so I didn't have to drop hints. But I've seen some very creative things done with letter boards where they put how many days it's been, like, and they still have no ring type of thing. I thought it was funny. From Emma_Benson 23. Are you going to be taking his last name or keeping yours?
I think I would invest 6.5, 7 years of time and you not take my last name?
Excuse you?
You can hyphenate if you want.
Okay, I am taking his last name only because I like how it sounds. If he had a weird last name, and we've had this conversation, I would not be taking it, but his last name is Emerson, so instead of Michelle Elise Ferré, I will be Michelle Elise Emerson, and I think it actually sounds good. And I like that our initials will kind of be similar, so my initials will be M-A-E, and his, with his actual name being William, will be W-A-E. So we have the same middle initial and we'll have the same last initial, and our first initials are just flip-flop, like the M and the W, which
cool.
I think is cool. From AshMay_13, honeymoon plans. So unfortunately, COVID-19 has interrupted them. Even though we are getting married this October, we're gonna push our honeymoon to next year, mostly because the EU still has travel restrictions on the US, right?
Yeah, and you just can't plan for, I mean, you need to buy airfare now. I mean, we should have airfare already.
Yeah.
You can't do that when there's travel bans. You know, unfortunately the US is still a hotspot, so there's a list of about 20 places as of this taping that we can go, and I don't really want to spend my honeymoon in Mexico. Do you want to go to Mexico?
No, so our plan is to go to Greece, but it will be next year. It's fine, you know, good things are worth waiting for. And in terms of our registry, we're mostly just asking for donations for our honeymoon because traveling is our #1 thing we love to do together. And obviously because we've been living together for like 4 years, 5, I don't know, however long.
No, 5.
Yeah. So since we've been living together for 5 years, we don't need a lot of stuff. And so at least this way we can hopefully get donations to our registry and be able to go on the honeymoon of our dreams and, you know, have that like picture perfect honeymoon, since the wedding has not panned out to be what we thought it would be. At least in the back of our heads, it's like, it's fine. We will have a great honeymoon and it will all be good. From LM Carius? L Macarius? I don't know. What is one thing you want to accomplish together? I have kind of a silly answer for this, but I want to hear yours.
There's a part of me that thinks it'd be cool to own a business together.
Okay, mine's on the same page.
Then how is yours silly? You want to own like a restaurant or something? Really?
Kind of, but...
What kind of restaurant do you want to own? You want to be like a franchisee of a place, or you want to... Should I know what it is?
Yeah, when I say it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah. Because we've kind of joked about this before.
Go ahead.
I want a food truck.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. I'd be fine with having a food truck.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to have a food truck together.
Yeah. Like a boat?
No,
I'd love
a truck.
How about a food boat?
A food boat.
Food boat, you take it on the lake. I mean, what's wrong with a food boat? I think that's a great idea, a food boat.
We will explore this avenue. All right, this one's for you to answer.
Okay.
From Smiling is Contagious 8. How does he feel with you being a teacher? Time spent on your job, money, etc.
Well, this past year was a little interesting, but going off the first, 5 years of your teaching career? So 5 years? I think it helped that we started to date while you were doing your internship, so that was like a mini version of what you were doing, what to expect. I mean, the first year was rough. I feel like at points where you've had major change. Your first year, your first moving, and then your first year at a different school. Even something as small as getting new team teachers, getting a new curriculum. But I don't think it's impacted our relationship at all. It's just been, hey, when there's new big structural change, you know, time is constricted. You have to manage your time a little bit better, and you may not have all the free time you would ordinarily have in a normal year.
Yeah.
But this year should be interesting.
And in terms of money, I know there's a later question on this, but he does not get to dictate how I spend my money. And I don't think we would be together if he did dictate how I spend my money.
We'll get to that.
We'll get there. Okay. From Cecilia Connery, what is your favorite place to go to or thing to do for date nights?
That's a good question. Pre-COVID, I mean, dinner and a movie was, you know, you love
standard,
you love that popcorn.
I do. I love movie theater popcorn.
Love the movie theater popcorn more than the movie.
It's true.
But it's always fun to do new things together, things that we haven't done. We went rock climbing together. Valentine's this year actually was rock climbing. Neither of us had done it, so it was cool to both have that new shared experience.
Yeah.
But you can't go wrong with just like great dinner.
Yeah, I mean, we love food, so anything where food is involved, we're probably happy. I would also throw in escape rooms. We've really enjoyed. Is there something going on?
You might be getting an Amazon package.
Oh!
We'll see.
Yeah, it's the envelopes. Oh, so I mentioned that, you know, we're postponing our wedding, so I got little postcards made. I'll put like a picture of it, probably over Billy's face, but it says, same love, new plans, and it just kind of clues them in. And I was printing envelopes, it got messed up, I had to order more, so that's good.
Why are you putting it over my face?
Well, I've got to put it somewhere on the screen. So I also love to do, well, we love to do escape rooms together. That's been something fun. And namely this Saturday, I'm especially excited because we're gonna stay at home. So here's a good COVID date idea. We're gonna make a charcuterie board and we're gonna rewatch Hamilton, and I am very excited. From KS_gymnast11, favorite thing you've done together?
I mean, traveling. Nothing compares to traveling.
If you had to pick one single event.
One single event?
Uno.
Oof. Gondola ride in Venice.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Venice, first of all, and then you do something that, for any travel lover, is assuredly on their bucket list. And weather was beautiful. We went in the summer. That's probably, and it's gonna be hard to beat that.
I would say either the gondola ride, or for Billy's 21st birthday, I took him on a hot air balloon ride.
Go, guys. All right under the sunrise is the strip. It'll get better view of the strip after the sun goes away, all right?
And that was also a really
I mean, you
cool
could see
experience.
the Venetian in Vegas, but we were actually in Vegas.
Moving on.
Okay.
From pencils_and_glue sticks, how do you balance time with work and each other? My husband works shifts and I'm a first-year teacher. The struggle is real. So I want to speak to this real quick because early on in our relationship, after that internship, we moved in together. Billy was working at a Marriott hotel and he was working the night audit. So he would work, what was it, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.?
Not every night.
Not every night, but
probably twice a week.
yeah, and there were a lot of times it was on the weekend because you had classes during the week. So he would work the night audit on the weekends, and that was hard. But I think it's just about finding activities that you can fit into your schedule that you both enjoy. For us, past, 6 years of our relationship, it's been going to the gym together. And that's something that we're both going to do in our schedule anyway, so we do it together. And it allows us to spend time together, but it also is, knocking things off of our to-do list, quote unquote. And I would just say dedicate time for date nights. It doesn't have to be even every week. If it's every other week or even once a month, if you have one big date night, just setting aside that time, I think is good. From the petite physics teacher, how did you handle male/female roles in the home when you both worked/studied? I don't think we follow male-female roles at all.
That's so 20th century.
Because Billy does basically all of the cooking. Every now and then I cook, but he's the primary chef. which I grew up with my dad being the cook. So that's very typical for me, but that doesn't fit your typical gender roles. And even a lot of like the laundry and cleaning and stuff, Billy does. And I would say for, you know, a time of our relationship, I was more that breadwinner. I was the one bringing home the bacon and he was doing the cooking and cleaning. So we were literally the opposite of what gender roles are. So I don't think we followed that at all.
Not at all. I mean, you can do more dishes if you want after I do the cooking, but that's okay.
Thank you. From Sammy.Showers, how do you go about splitting/balancing finances? I told you it was gonna come back up.
Yeah, I mean, up until this point, we're not married yet. We're still renting. Other than the spending that you have for like wherever you're living, whether it's utilities or rent or, you know, buying things for the house or the apartment or townhome, you know, it's...
I mean, we split pretty much everything. We split rent, we split utilities. I pay the landlord and then he reimburses me through Venmo. And in terms of dinner, typically if we go out to a dinner, we just split it. When we go buy groceries, we split it. Every now and then, like I might say, hey, I want to treat us to dinner and I pay for all of it, or he pays for all of it. Or a date night, like he might pay for the movie, and that's fine. But a majority of the time I would say we split it. And we literally, like they bring us a check, we put down 2 cards and say, can you split it in half? What is one of my pet peeves at restaurants? Not with you, but with waiters and waitresses.
Oh, when they bring back the check after it's been paid or even before it's paid, and they automatically put it in front of me.
It drives me insane because there was a chunk of time where I was picking up a lot of the finances just due to job situations, and it would annoy me to no end that they would automatically assume that the guy was paying. It frustrated me, but in terms of once we're married, I think our plan is to still keep a majority of our money separate, but we're gonna have a joint account that we each contribute to, and we use that to pay bills, go on vacation, stuff like that. But then we each still have our funny money, like our kind of extra money to be able to spend on whatever it is we want, because I don't want to dictate how he spends his money and I don't want him to dictate how I spend mine. Is that a good answer?
The only rule is that if one of us makes a horrible purchase, the other person gets to make fun of him for it. And there's been plenty of that, right?
Yes, on both ends.
Okay.
From Carrie Durrell, how do you balance time shared between your 2 families, weekend visits, holidays, etc.? So we're actually kind of lucky. We're on the western shore of Maryland, but my parents and his mom are on the eastern shore of Maryland. His dad lives further away. We don't see him quite as often, but in terms of holidays, let's just say Christmas, for example. We wake up Christmas morning, we have Christmas together where we open gifts and we eat breakfast. We drive down to his mom's, which is further. We will do like a breakfast lunch with her and his sister typically. On the way back, stop at my parents and do Christmas dinner. So for us, it just works because they're relatively close to each other, but you know, I know everyone's situation is different. For us, it's typically we go to his mom's first, hit my parents on the way back, and then we're done. From D_Katrina_. How do you overcome any arguments, discussions, and make the relationship work? Juicy.
Well, I mean, it goes back to one of the earlier questions. We're both stubborn.
Yeah.
We both don't like to give an inch.
But I think we've learned what works for the other person, and he has learned, for example, sometimes I just need time and space to be by myself in order to calm down, and then I can be more rational in an argument. So he also has learned I don't like to argue in public at all. It's one of my biggest like pet peeves, I guess. I cannot stand to argue in public. So he knows if we start having an argument, I'm gonna say, let's drop it. And when we come home, he'll give me time and space, and then I'm better off. I've learned with him, I would have a habit of not apologizing, and I've learned that apologizing can go a really long way, and I've just learned how do I word this the right way? I just know how to be able to talk to him when he's like frustrated or upset, I think, and...
Well, we're 2 very different people in this situation.
Yeah.
I want to hash it out right now. Let's go. You mano y mano, and you need the time and you need the space, which is completely fine and okay.
I think just learning what the other person needs and making sure you give them that. Last one. This was literally a question from everyone. do we want kids?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we do want kids, preferably 2. I've always said I don't want them to outnumber us, but we are not in any rush whatsoever. We have a lot more traveling we want to do and things we want to accomplish, so we're not in a rush, but eventually, yeah, we'll have some mini little Pocketful primaries running around at some point, but no time soon.
That's when you can start Pocketful of pregnancy. As
Pocketful
like
of parenting.
Yeah, that would be a new endeavor for you.
All right, we hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it ended up being super long, but if you did, please give it a thumbs up. A lot of you have been asking me like, what's our wedding website and all of that, because you all are interested, and I will link that for you down in the description box. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and we will catch you in the next one.